This is the Ortur Laser Master 3. We've had a chance to work with this laser engraver over the past few weeks and make some unique creations. We want to share our first impressions. Whether you're a beginner or experienced user, you will enjoy the quality and value in this machine. At the price point, the Ortur Laser Master 3 is very hard to beat. Over the years, we've tested many different engravers and actually placed this near the top of our diode laser list. Stay with us and we'll show you exactly what this unit can do. Welcome back to Space Age Tech, where we look at the tech that pushes the limits. Let's take a look at some of the specifications of the Ortur Laser Master 3. It has a stable and light 10-watt laser module with a 0.05 by 0.1 millimeter spot size. It will cut through 12 millimeter wood or 10 millimeter acrylic in just one pass. With a speed of 20,000 millimeters per minute or 332 millimeters per second, you can get more work done in less time. You can cut deeper, up to 10 millimeters cutting, with an 8 millimeter depth of field and 0.01 millimeter precision. With the Ortur app, Laser Explorer, you can take a photo and engrave it easily. Use the easy mode or professional mode and the automatic operation guide to get started with your Ortur Laser Master 3. Safety is very important when working with any type of laser engraver. The Ortur Laser Master 3 has many safety features, including a safety lock, active position protection, sloping position protection, exposure direction detection and limitation, voltage, host watchdog, and emergency stop switch. Let the unboxing begin. Take a look at this retail ready packaging. Right out of the gate, we see attention to detail instead of a big brown box. The user manual is clear and easy to follow. You can see these pieces are custom, they're well made and with a durable finish. Everything was well packaged and protected. If you'd like to see an assembly video, head over to Ortur's channel where you can see the entire setup process. For us, it took about 30 minutes to set up completely. Now that we're all set up, let's start engraving. We'll start out by doing some tests. The first material we're engraving today is a bamboo cutting board. We ran an engraving test to figure out the best settings to use for this type of materials as recommended. Bamboo can be hard to use because the grains of the wood can alter the final color result. These tests are a must when using any new material. We found the best results using 75 millimeters per second at 100% power. We ran the same test with a 1/4 inch cork. This machine actually did a better job on this material than the X tool because it has a lower power. There was no excessive burn through and the lines are clear. For this material, we would recommend a speed of 150 millimeters per second at 80% powered. Let's see how it performs with 6 millimeter tooling leather. This leather is extremely thick and durable, so it gave the laser a run for its money. The Ortur had no trouble engraving on this material with a setting of 80 millimeters per second at 50% power, but the smell that emanates from the burning leather is quite terrible. This is another reason why you should have a full enclosure for your laser. Luckily, we used the Snapmaker A350T enclosure for our laser engravers, and it does an excellent job of enclosing the unit and exhausting the smoke outside. Next, we tried EVA foam. You may recognize that we did this on the same sheet we used for the X-Tool testing because we wanted you to see the comparison side by side. The Ortur handled EVA foam really well due to its precision. The lines were really clear. We recommend 250 millimeters per second at 100% power for this type of material. Here again, we run a power speed test on MDF, also next to the X-Tool MDF result. This machine gave us comparable results. For this material, we would recommend 150 millimeters per second at 100% power. Here's a close-up of the result of the MDF and the EVA foam. Using MDF, we engraved an image of one of our dogs. MDF is a fantastic material for engraving because it allows you to capture more detail than any other wood. Let's take a look at the close-up of this image on MDF. Next, we tested 1/4 inch maple plywood. We use this material in other reviews because it's readily available and affordable. As you can see, we had some burning on this first power speed cut test, but we had to rerun the test a few more times. On the second cut test, we had better results, but ended up running a third one to dial it in. This is the third test where we dialed in the ideal cut settings for this material. We found that 3 millimeters per second at 100% power with 2 passes would cut through this material cleanly. Here's the close-up of the last settings. You can see the piece came right out. This is another engraving test on one of our favorite materials, redwood. Redwood engraves very nicely, and we recommend 200 millimeters per second at 100% power. We also tried to engrave a polished stone. The irregular shape of this piece made the engraving very difficult, but with some fine-tuning you can produce better results. Then we ran an engraving test on this solid piece of rock. With the X-Tool, the material engraved beautifully, but unfortunately with the Ortur, we didn't have quite enough power to get the same quality results. Here we tried running it at 1 millimeter per second at 100% power with mixed results. This is a close-up of the stone. Ultimately, for this type of material, you will need to use a higher power laser or do many passes. We then tested this black tile. We ran 2 different settings through this tile. The first gave us a beautiful blue color, and this is why we recommend running an engraving test. There are probably other colors we could have gotten if we ran the test. We performed a second, slower speed and got a usable depth of engraving. Here you can see the differences between the light engraving that turned out blue on the left and a deep engraving on the right. Here we have a standard engraving test on white tile. You can see it engraves very deep at 1 millimeter per second at 100% power. This very deep engraving would be great for filling with epoxy or paint. On this test, we used the same type of tinted glass on the Ortur that we used on the X-Tool. We got wonderful results. Here's the close-up. You may want to try this tinted glass material for yourself. This is an opaque black acrylic. We found a small testing spot to engrave using the Ortur. We also did a cut test on the black acrylic, and the Ortur had no problems with this material. Here we ran an engraving test on a used stainless steel tumbler. To dial in the settings, we found the ideal settings to be 1 millimeter per second speed at 87.5% power. We engraved the tumbler with the settings and the results were good. These are the results of the stainless steel tumbler engraving, proving that the Ortur Laser Master 3 can indeed mark stainless steel. For this next test, we tried engraving on galvanized steel, and unfortunately the Ortur was unable to mark the galvanized steel. You would really need a 1064 nanometer diode for this type of material. We're hoping Ortur is working on one. Up next is a stainless steel cookie sheet that we ran a power speed test on. The marking is not as dark as we would have liked, but it's still visible at 1 millimeter per second with 100% power. Here's a close-up of the stainless steel cookie sheet engraving test. One great feature of the Ortur is its easy-to-use app. The ability to use an app like this allows beginners of all ages to start using the machine right away. Of course, adult supervision is required around lasers, but they can get started fairly easy. We look forward to testing this feature even further with our young testers. These are all the materials we tested with the Ortur Laser Master 3. We hope this test gives you an insight on the capabilities of this machine. Let's take a closer look at our test. Here is the white tile, and you can see the excellent engraving capability. The tinted glass engraved just as well as it did with the X tool. This is the galvanized steel that the Ortur was not able to mark. This is the irregular stone. While the Ortur was able to work with these materials, the settings would need to be refined. Here is the rock. We recommend a few more passes to make the design even more visible. The black tile was the most impressive, and we'll be using this material in the near future. The bamboo cutting board engraved very well and would be an excellent gift idea. The black acrylic was very easy to cut and engrave on this machine. The stainless steel cookie sheet might need more passes to achieve a darker engraving. The cork turned out to be a fantastic material to engrave, but care must be made to ensure it doesn't burn. Leather engraves beautifully with the Ortur, but you would require multiple passes to cut. Redwood turned out very nice. We recommend it. The results are clear. This is the MDF image. This is a wonderful and versatile material to engrave photos on. This is the test we made using the Ortur Laser Explorer app. The app has lots of potential. We look forward to showcasing it in the future. Here's our maple plywood cutting test. As you can see, we had some trouble with this, but attributed to the material itself. We would need to keep refining our cutting settings to use it more successfully. For the MDF and EVA foam cutting and engraving tests, EVA foam is a fun material to use and can make lots of interesting projects. You can see here the previous results from the X tool next to the Ortur results. Lastly, we have the stainless steel tumbler test and marking results. The Ortur did reasonably well. We enjoyed testing the Ortur Laser Master 3. The build quality is fantastic and it's an excellent option in its at its current price point for anyone considering a 10-watt laser engraver. This can be a great tool for makers and business alike. It's a great tool for anyone who is interested in laser engraving, and I would definitely recommend it to others. The possibilities are endless with this versatile tool, and it's safe to use. We will have other reviews coming soon on other interesting tech. Please like and subscribe. It really helps our channel grow.